Here's Jillian with a video about how McDonald's is good for you. I'm not kidding. That's the hill she's decided to die on with this video.
Of so real quick, I am in
Please not Jillian, you haven't had coffee yet? You better make it real quick.
the process of writing out a very organized succession of how energy is not being utilized correctly. And when we demonize food establishments like McDonald's and we promote establishments like the gym or other excessive energy usurping protocols like working out, the world is backwards. You realize that McDonald's is an energy source.
Dr. Gamble with 100 bits. I worked in the kitchen of Mickey D's. It's not good for you. Case closed. I worked there in high school, too. I agree. And yes, by the way, Sushi Mom, happy birthday. Everyone give a happy birthday to Sushi Mom, please.
That is a complete protein with other nutritive benefits that if the body is able to utilize that energy correctly, then you actually could live very healthy lifestyle with McDonald's and Jilly Juice. And
that's like a race to figure out which kind of diarrhea is going to kill you first. The McDonald's diarrhea or the Jilly Juice diarrhea?
Potentially live indefinitely. When people are working out to such an extent to where they don't capitalize on the energy that they're retaining.
Nutritive benefits, question mark, says a very tall hobbit.
And they're always working out.
All she knows is food has nutrients. That's what she knows.
Causing entropy, causing the energy to be leaving the body at an excessive level where you are now cannibalizing the body because you don't have
Tucker White says, Jillian, camera's down here. Why is she looking up the ceiling?
enough energy to be able
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
to handle an
Might be the rare
excessive
occasion where
energy
McDonald's
taking
lessens
force
the
like the gym.
diarrhea.
That is the body. That is when the person allows the body to cannibalize itself. In my first book that's out right now, working out and doing the Jilly Juice protocol.
Oh, someone asks, WTF is Jilly Juice? I guess I made a grave error in assuming everyone here already knew. Jillian is a grifter. She believes what she's saying, but nonetheless, she makes a concoction called Jilly Juice, which is made of salt water, cabbage, and then it's fermented. And she believes this concoction will cure every disease, including cancer, and she thinks if you're gay, it'll also cure you of being gay, or if you're trans, like myself, she thinks it'll cure you of being trans, and she believes it'll make you live forever, and that it'll regrow limbs. It's absolutely bonkers, and it gives you absolutely ridiculous diarrhea, which she calls waterfalls.
Doesn't work together. That causes ketosis, that causes the body to take the energy that it has, but you're not able to retain the energy, or you wouldn't be working out and trying to be healthy. And
You'd honestly rather
the
die.
social constructs of having a cut body, a fit body, has caused people to allow their body to be cannibalized by their own doing. Okay, thermodynamics is where you have the energy on reserve to be able to not only exert energy out there doing your job or walking or working out, but thermodynamics is also the ability to retain the energy and utilize it correctly.
Does anyone have word salad? You definitely need to knock off, whenever we do Jillian, word salad gets marked off the board very quickly. Dr. Gamble with 20 bits. For all that said, Jilly Juice will kill you first. You clearly never witnessed the emptying of a grill's grease tray after breakfast. Hey, I worked at McDonald's back about a decade ago. I know what it was like. I know what those grease traps are like. I had to empty them. They're disgusting.
McDonald's is not a bad food. Neither is Taco Bell. Neither is any fast food industry. Anyone that
That's not true. Look, I'm sure these restaurants have healthier options, but the McDonald's salads are really bad for you if you don't know. Not as bad as like a Big Mac or something. The thing about fast food is it's all disgusting, greasy, non-nutritious, and filled with sugar and stuff. That said, I'm not saying you can never have it, right? If you get McDonald's once a month or once every couple months or something, you're fine. Who cares? But, like, it's not nutritious. It's junk food. It's junk food. And people they like Taco Bell every once in a while. That's fine. But it isn't good for you. Major Dub, thank you for subscribing with a 4-month streak. Happy 5 months. I missed it. Happy 5 months, Hannah. TBR brand foil when. I'll have to talk to a merchandise person. Doom Smoothie with 20 bits. I was going to talk shit about McDonald's, but all I've had to eat today was 4 donuts and a medium coffee. Yeah, be a little hypocritical. Tucker White 94, 20 bits. McDonald's is the place you go to when you're on a long road trip because there's one at just about every goddamn exit. Yeah, it's consistent. There's a reason people call things the McDonald's of blank if it's like a thing in another industry. Where it's like consistent, not necessarily great, not nutritious, but it'll get the job done, right? McMansions. Or like if you wanted to call, this is I think a little bit of a disservice to the MCU, because some of those movies are really good, but like the Marvel movies are the McDonald's of the film industry. They're not going to be the best thing you've ever seen, but they'll be flashy and they'll be fun and they'll get the job done. You know what I mean?
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Thank you, Computer Flight, for following.
that is demonizing the food supply, doesn't understand
Bye, Pier Squar. See you later.
how to utilize food for what it is. And so the aging process is...
Oh, did I miss a thing? Hold on. Fluidity, thank you for donating $5. Says, take my money. You're a beautiful person, and I'm so happy that the streams have become so successful for you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
when you don't absorb the nutrition.
The MCU, but with Mick, the McU. Yeah, that works. That's a better joke than I made up. Good job.
That you need to be able to put on reserve so the body can actually evolve and rebuild its cell structures. When you're working out and when you're starving yourself of food is when the body goes into ketosis. It goes into self-cannibalization. And so what's backwards is there are people in my world that, like the Jilly Juice, don't understand that McDonald's is just food. You realize that the holistic allopathic industry have demonized and compartmentalized the food supply as well as the elements, making you think that your environment is the enemy when actually it's what keeps you alive. You see, not everybody understands Jilly Juice. Not everybody understands thermodynamics. Not everybody understands that when the body is aging, when the body is going into fertility, it's because there's lack of reserves available to keep the body going to mitigate extinction.
Okay, but like your body needs macronutrients, right? And McDonald's food is calorically dense, let's say, right? It's got a lot of added sugars. It's got a lot of stuff that's going to be high in calories, but it doesn't necessarily give you the nutrition, the macronutrients that we're actually talking about, vitamins and minerals and stuff, to keep your body going, right? So you could theoretically probably keep yourself sustained off McDonald's, like Jillian keeps herself sustained off diarrhea water, but like, you won't be healthy, and you will probably die much sooner than you want.
And so this is why people die, and this is why people are fertile, why they have to go and procreate. And so...
Very Tall Hobbit with 20 bits. This isn't word salad. Salad can be healthy. This is a word hot dog. It's all the undesirable bits mushed together into a presentable package. And then Shadow Witch says, calorie dense, nutritionally sparse. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the thing with that humans do need to socialize. Well, yeah, if they are a whole person. But a person who doesn't have what it takes to handle the new data in the environment, the new energy in the environment, and the body goes into an evolutionary process. So that we have a new virus in the environment, the body goes into an evolutionary process, doesn't have enough energy to evolve. And so guess what? They are then going into self-cannibalization. And what happens is then you have an uneven distribution of life, which is then called tumorigenesis or cancer, or you have the usurping of the energy, the disintegration of life, which is called then the aging process, where you are now cutting off your hand, where you're cutting off your hand so you can feed your vital organs. Right, John. McDonald's is probably the best. I'm telling you, McDonald's top ramen. You realize top ramen is the most simplest, best form of energy a person can get, but it's been totally backwards. People have
No. Tucker White 94 20 bets. Has anyone else lost the plot? Yeah, Jillian. Ashy Boo 74 20 bits. All I'm getting from this is McDonald's will cure your cancer. And then Jezebel 20 bits. I'm trying to follow this, but I just can't. Again, you can enjoy some ramen, some top ramen. It's not good for you, though. Like, it's not nutritious. It'll fill you up and give you some energy. But you're not necessarily going to be healthy because of it. Albatrotsky with 20 bits. Jillian, please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
I've been demonizing top ramen. They've been demonizing McDonald's because they don't know how to utilize the energy correctly. And so what happens is then you paint yourself into a very narrow corner of food discrimination, and you're starving yourself.
Top ramen isn't super
and when
different
you starve
from
yourself,
juice.
guess
They're
what
about
happens?
as salty
It's called the
as
acceleration
each
of entropy.
other.
And so,
Puck
yeah,
Leon,
when you're
thank
staying
you
away
for
from
following.
sugar and salt and carbs and meat, which is a complete protein, and milk and eggs and sugar and all the stuff that's on my
And meat, which is a complete protein. Yeah, meat's protein, Jillian. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
that shopping list that I posted, when you are starving yourself from that energy source, guess what? Your body's gonna die. I can live off of top ramen, which is basically a sugar, carbs, which is the noodles, and then the salt, the sodium content, is what the body needs to be able to then energize the processes, redistribute the life force, so that way you don't get cancer.
Boy, I really want her to go to the doctor and find out. I don't think she goes to the doctor because she thinks the Jilly juice makes her completely healthy. How high do you think her sodium is? Because she drinks a gallon of salt water a day with the Jilly juice, and then she's also apparently eating a bunch of McDonald's and ramen. Her sodium intake must be bananas. Tucker White 94 20 bits. Remember, Hannah, food that's good for you costs money, which most of us don't have. That's true.
You don't get chronic.
It's got what plants crave. That's true. Electrolytes.
Tools of capitalism.
Razzle Tazzle 91. Here you go, Jilly.
Illness.
With some salt.
And you don't get disease. But if you're
She's going to have a heart attack one day. I think she's going to have a stroke. If she hasn't already suffered from some mini strokes. She was on Dr. Phil, and some of the people they brought on were people she'd convinced to drink Jilly juice, and one of them had a stroke because of the Jilly juice, because their sodium intake was so high. They were super, dehydrated and stuff. So, I don't know. I think Jillian might have a stroke someday.
working out and you're trying to be all fit, and then you're staying away from McDonald's and staying away from certain foods that you have been taught to demonize, and guess what? The body goes into an aging process. Look at how many of your friends and family are on all these keto diets who have been scared of sugar and salt, and guess what? Their body is disintegrating.
How old was the person that had the stroke? Mid-40s, probably. Mid-40s to early 50s. I don't remember.
And they're very discriminatory. And guess what? They take a side. Guess what? They're an activist. You know what activists are? They're imbalanced humans. When you're taking a side against, the government, against humanity and the food supply, when you take a side against your own self, as well as your brethren, you are actively contributing to the entropy process,
What
the
is she
destruction of
talking
humanity.
about?
And so, yeah, I mean, you could be as
Forget
awake as
Tinfoil
you think
Tuesday
you are.
crap.
You
Can
could
we
be, oh,
watch
I'm so awake. Oh,
Idiocracy?
yeah, the government's so
Unfortunately,
bad. Oh,
no.
yeah.
Look out your
You know,
window. We're
McDonald's
living
is
it.
so bad. And, oh, yeah, the gyms are so good. You have it backwards.
What is she gonna do when she realizes she's still aging? Like, what happens when she starts getting tons of gray hair and wrinkles? Well, that's the thing, though. If you look at Jilly Juice from years ago, she's been doing this for years. She has visibly aged. I think all the dehydration from drinking so much salt water every day probably isn't helping. But she's visibly aged, you know, at least a bit. We all do. I've aged as well. We all go through it. Ashy Boo 74 20 bits. I hope she donates her body to science. There'd be so much wrong with it. Honestly, she's probably so saturated with sodium they won't even have to put anything in the corpse for the embalming to preserve. What was I going to say? Oh, she'll probably, and I'm going to make a prediction here. If she starts getting gray hairs, she's going to say, I've discovered something new about Jilly Juice and life, what does she call them? Death trajectories and life trajectories. She'll be like, it turns out hair pigment is part of a death trajectory, and once you get to a certain point with Jilly Juice, your hair starts losing its pigment. It'll be some bullshit like that. I almost guarantee it.
You have it so backward.
There's no version of this where Jillian realizes she's wrong. No matter what. She could survive a stroke that's caused by the Jilly Juice, and she will not listen, and she will go home from the hospital and immediately start drinking Jilly Juice again and die. Like, she cannot admit she's wrong.
You know, I'm eating right now an energy source. It's called yogurt, sugars, and milk.
What is in that yogurt? Did she put, like, cottage cheese in her yogurt? Kind of looks like it. 70 bits, the Shadow Witch. Sodium plus saturated fat, trans fat, and empty calories equals heart disease. Trust me, I know. I had a massive coronary at 31, 95% blockage. Senior year of my double major. I know Dash and AHA diets, and she isn't following that at all. I drink nothing but water and cook my food. This person is dangerous to herself and others.
Funny about the tools of capitalism.
Andrew Batella with 20 bits. The body is not a closed system, therefore any usable energy must be extracted through a potential difference. That's why they need to use Jilly Juice to summon beings from the extra dimension to offset the closedness of the universe. 74 Quinn 74 asks, is she a narcissist? She has delusions of grandeur. I don't know if she's a narcissist, but she definitely has a very high opinion of herself. And she thinks she knows better than doctors. Tucker White 94, 20 bits. The Jillian who realizes she's wrong is located in the same alternate reality that communist Joe Biden occupies. Mitchell Drummer with 20 bits. Remember, guys, Jilly thinks that Jilly Juice is causing her menopause. She literally doesn't know what menopause was. Yeah, that's true. Last time we watched her, she did think her menopause was Jilly Juice. Antipodian Squid with 20 bits. Hair color is caused by toxins exiting your body, and when you reach a certain level of wellness, your hair will go gray because there are no more toxins that need to leave your system that way. Ooh, that's a good fake one. Yeah, she might say that. That's good.
These are hormones. These are things that are going to keep me alive as I'm writing. Because I'm writing right now, and it's utilizing a lot of energy. Like, I had to go outside and smoke a cigarette.
I did mention cheese, actually, yeah. I said it looked like cottage cheese. So, yeah, that counts. If you got cottage cheese, or if you got cheese on the bingo card. Good catch. Where is it? Hannah mentions cheese somewhere on here. Where is... There we go. 24.
To kind of get more hormones to really put things together, and I get clarity when I do my own chemistry, but because I'm balanced, I can play with my biochemistry with chemistry because I'm a balanced human being. I know what it takes
she smokes
to live in
too.
this
This
world.
is hilarious. How can anyone be
It
so
takes
wrong?
food. It takes balancing
The constant
elements. It's
dehydration probably isn't
understanding the
helping her
micro and
think
the macro
clearly either.
are interrelated. You know, you have like image. What is image? Image is the electrical impulses, the mass or matter, I'm sorry, acids, I is for impulses, M is for matter, A is for acids, G is for gases, E is for electrical. Those all correspond to the micro, which is way down to your cellular thermodynamics, all the way to the macro, to your behaviors, to how you interact with the world, what you believe in. Everything that you do is based upon how your cells are retaining energy and releasing energy in a balanced or imbalanced way. And when you demonize the food supply, you're no different than what you think the government is doing to people. You're actually, you are the worst fears.
Dr. Gamble with 50 bits. Oh, God, is that an Ohio State shirt? Is she in my state? That's it. I'm moving to Michigan. I don't know where she's from, actually. Can I review the bingo? In a little bit, I will. Jack Clausen with 100 bits. She reminds me of a cult leader so much. Just nonsense. Yeah. It's a poop cult. She said it's a poop cult. Those are her words. Ashy Boo 74 with 20 bits. I hope that in my future as a therapist, I get to run across a client like Jillian. The unfortunate part is that people with delusions this strong don't seek help. Yeah.
That you're bringing out. You are actually the worst fears. You are actually self-annihilating yourself. You are self-annihilating, and you're annihilating your friends and family. Because guess what? Some people are poor out there. Some people right now are losing their jobs because of things that are going on. And you know what? The dollar menu is going to keep people alive.
If you're really, really broke, you're certainly better off going and buying a loaf of bread and some peanut butter and some jelly rather than getting stuff off the dollar menu. I don't know. Even ramen, I think you're better off getting ramen in terms of economic viability if you're really, really poor and you just need to get something in your body, even if it's not the healthiest, to make sure you can keep going to work and stuff. Ramen would be the choice above McDonald's, right? McDonald's is not cheap for what it is. McDonald's is $1 for a cheeseburger that costs 10 cents to make. You know what I mean? I understand that there are situations where you might have $1.06 for a burger, but you might not have enough to go make your own. I understand. But to act like McDonald's is a viable long-term money-saving strategy, it's not. McDonald's is expensive relative to making your own food, even if it's something basic. Again, like buying a loaf of bread and some stuff to make sandwiches, you know?
If things were to really go to shit, when I was going through a hard time living in a hotel with my husband in Sacramento, California, West Sacramento, California.
Rice and beans.
In the ghetto, next to drug dealers and prostitutes, because they were in the hotel room next to us, and I was trying to work from the ground up. Because my husband and I got together, and we had to rebuild both of our lives and bring them together. We were living off of the dollar menu. We were living off of Little Caesars pizza. $5 pizzas. Dollar menu kept us alive.
How dare you besmirch the name of Little Caesars pizza? Sometimes you just want a pizza that tastes like it was made on cardboard for the crust.
It kept us going. No, we weren't doing Jillian juice back then, because that was back in 2011 or 2010, 2011. Okay, actually 2011, because we got married in September 24, 2011. And so prior to us getting married, we were struggling. And so if somebody doesn't have enough food, doesn't have enough money, let's say they get Social Security, they do the Jilly Juice, and they can go to the food bank, and they have a few dollars where they can go buy a McDonald's or a pizza. That's a fucking food source. Why the hell would you demonize a food source? Because what?
Right, I understand that when people are, and I've been very, very poor at different points throughout my life, I understand that. I'm doing all right now, actually, thanks to the support of the show from people like you. Well, PBS announcement. But I've been poor. I understand what that's like. I understand that sometimes you just feel desperate. But even when I was poor, maybe it was just me, but when I was poor, I wasn't getting McDonald's. When I was poor, McDonald's might have been a treat. You know what I mean? It's junk food, it's sugary, it's bad. But I wasn't eating a McDonald's every night when I was poor, right? I was going to the grocery store. I was going to the Aldi, and I was getting, non-name brand, whatever I could get my hands on just so I could get some food, right? I don't know.
So you can promote organic food, promote some organic vegetable that's not a complete protein, that's not a complete nutritive benefit.
Oh, my phone's gonna die here
And so,
in a second.
yeah,
It's
right
got
now
1%.
I'm in the process of really
Shit.
getting from the micro.
I was reading the chat on there. It's fine. I can use it on my computer, but my phone's gonna be dead until I charge it. Shit.
To the macro, so you understand how to utilize image, which is the impulses, the matter, the acids, the gases, and the electrical impulses that then cause in the body to regenerate. But if you have an imbalance in the image, which is basically from the micro and the macro, then you're going to have someone who is going to lose their life either now or later on down the road. So I've actually simplified everything down to image in the micro, an image in the macro, and then all your stupid politics around food is going to go to the wayside. Because if you have politics around food, then you're no different than those who you fear. You are actually one of those that want to annihilate the human race. When you actually demonize food. And you're like, oh yeah, the gym is such a healthy place. No, the gym is not a healthy place. Do you know how many people are in there that are so malnourished, that are causing more entropy in their body because they're using more energy than they have on retention?
That's not how that works.
And so then guess what? The body cannibalizes itself. It will go steal from people.
I think she's one of these people, like Donald Trump, who thinks that the body has a finite amount of energy, and if you exercise, you're using it up, and that if you use it all, that's when you die. But that's not how that works. Your body isn't a closed system. You're putting chemical energy in via food all the time. Exercise is good for you.
To pay Paul, and that's why you see
died.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, who used to look really cute way back in the 19 whatever, in his heyday, to now looking like a shell of himself.
What? Arnold Schwarzenegger looks good for his age. He looks great for his age. He just, aged like people age. Let me see what he looks like today. Like, this is a recent picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, yeah, he looks like an old version of himself, but he's in good shape. Like, I think Jillian is just, and I feel like y'all understand what I'm saying. I think Jillian is just really, really afraid of growing old. And the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger looks older than he did in the 80s because it's been 40 years. She thinks he looks like shit, but he doesn't. He looks great for his age. I don't know. I think she's going to have a real rough time as she gets older. Antipodian Squid with 20 bets. Does she mean when he was on steroids compared to now? I think so. Who says he's not still on steroids? Who cares? I don't think he's actively participating in any competitions.
Graying hair, losing collagen, losing muscle tone. Some people are losing their mind because they are starving their bodies, not because they don't eat, because their bodies are not utilizing the energy correctly. They haven't healed and sealed. And so a poor person who can only afford salt and jars and water and cabbage and kale and then McDonald's could live better than someone who is demonizing McDonald's and promoting the gym.
No. Look, I understand, again, the idea of, like, food deserts. I understand, let's say you're a low-income person or a no-income person for whatever reason, and you live in an area and you don't have a car, and the only place close to you that sells food isn't a grocery store, but it's a McDonald's. You're probably going to find yourself walking to that McDonald's and getting food quite often, more often than is probably healthy to do. And I understand that's a situation some people find themselves in, and that sucks, and that's why, like, food deserts as a concept is a thing, and why people are trying to take steps to change that. But that doesn't make McDonald's healthy just because it's the only option some people have. Right?
I don't need much to live.
Batty
I
Bell,
can live so
stream
simplistically because I
boss.
know what
Nice.
chemistry needs to happen for the body to live indefinitely. But I'm telling you, it's a trip to see people who say they like Jilly Juice. who think they understand. They're not doing jelly juice. They're not. They're so full of shit, literally, that they're actually demonizing the food supply. That's how full of shit people are. That's why you do J juice, to get rid of the excess shit in your body.
Scott
You can heal and
LaRock,
seal,
thanks for following.
and realize that it's about energy. You know, when you have so many antibodies accumulating, that's energy being taken away from the body trying to evolve. Antibodies are energy that, yes, have been programmed to go after evolving cells. And so that's what then causes also the destruction of humanity, entropy. But anytime that you go to a different environment and the body has to evolve, that's energy taken. Anytime that you move, anytime that you speak, anytime that you think and you write and you watch TV or you go and work, that's energy being usurped. You have to be able to not only bring more energy in your body, but also put some on retention so that way your hair, skin, and nails are not being sacrificed for your vital organs.
Jack C. with a $5 donation. Here's money, although Jillian is pissing me off with her terrible ideas. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it.
And that's what happens when people are downing McDonald's and promoting the fucking gym on a body that is compromised. Have a good day.
Man, she always ends those videos so abruptly. So, yeah, I understand McDonald's can be some people's in very specific circumstances only choice of food. That doesn't make it healthy. It's not. It's bad for you. Anyway, someone wanted me to go over the bingo card, so let's take a look at what we got.